Hey, welcome to the Whitefields Community Church Sermon Extra, and a Happy New Year to you. We are here. It's January 1st. What are you doing today? Well, we're making a video. And I'm here with Pastor Nick, and he is the pastor of Whitefields Community Church. And, as we're moving forward into the new year, we're looking back at our Advent series, and we didn't get a chance to do any sermon extras for that series, but we cover a lot of great topics. And if you have not heard any of those series, go back. They are timeless, not just for Christmas time, but just a great look. Started out at the beginning of the month with your sorrow will turn into joy, and the joy of the Lord is your strength, from shame to joy, joy to the world. And then on Sunday, we ended with count it all joy. And one of the unique things about going through this series was the unique perspective of joy, and talking about the unique source of our joy. And I think that was kind of a common thread that kind of went through all of these, sermons, was the unique source of our joy in Jesus.
Yeah. I think that was the thing. I don't want to say it was unexpected, but it was surprising as it came out, as I studied and prepared and presented, just how that's a common theme throughout the Bible, that this is what makes Christian joy unique, is that the circumstances of this world are indeed sometimes very bad. And I think that Christianity has the integrity to say that bad things are actually bad. I actually really respect that about Christianity, as opposed to, some other philosophies will say bad things are really just a figment of your imagination, or they say nothing really exists, we all just live in the Matrix or whatever. Or they'll say, well, every cloud has a silver lining, you just need to look at it from the right perspective. I think Christianity, that's one of the things I really respect most, is that it says, no, bad things are actually so bad that Jesus had to come and die. Like, God had to die because bad things are really bad. And yet at the same time, we have this incredible source of joy, which is based in something outside our circumstances. It's based in the hope that we have of our salvation, which is something which is yet to come. It's something in the past and something we experience now. So we have this joy that is rooted in the past, present, and future, that is separate from our circumstances. And I thought that was so incredible in 1 Peter, just realizing, he's saying, you are suffering now, but you also greatly rejoice with unspeakable joy. And wow, how can those two things coexist? And then the great Christmas message is that we're at this moment of dawn where the good and the truth is going to overcome the darkness, and our joy will be complete. It's just such a hopeful message, but not just a hopeful message for the future. It's a hopeful message for today.
Yeah, and you mentioned that verse in James chapter 1, verse 2, which says to count it all joy when you fall into various trials. And you brought up that point when to count it all. James is telling us that we are to change our way of thinking, and as we come into the new year, we spend a lot of time wanting to change our way of doing, and not necessarily a way of thinking. And that was something very interesting that caught me as far as from Sunday's message, to count it, to change my way of thinking as we draw back from our, you come into the new year, we want to change our perspective. We want to take stock of our lives, what have we done, what we want to change, and things like that. And many times people, myself included, we want to change what we're doing instead of how we are thinking, And I just thought about that idea that many times our perspective, we want to sometimes change those things that are actually causing us to grow. We want to, he says, count all joy that when you fall into various trials are going to happen in 2019. They're going to happen to me. They're going to happen to you. They're going to happen to those that are watching and listening. And it's not necessarily we need to change what we're doing, but change how we're thinking, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we were discussing a TV show that I watched. Is a kind of sci-fi thing, imagining the future. And in the future, what happened in the show was that this mom had implanted her child with a device that could control her from experiencing stress. right? And experiencing things that caused her to be scared or things that were violent. And so, she could actually change what the girl saw. And she thought she was doing this to help her daughter. And what you realize as time goes on, the show was saying, is that by not experiencing those things, she was actually hurting her daughter by not letting her experience those things, which would have actually caused her to grow, though they were uncomfortable in the moment. So like one example was there was a dog on their street, and the mom was able through this device to blur out the dog so the girl never heard or saw the dog that she was scared of. Well, as a result, the girl never learned, she never grew. And there's a real sense, James says this incredible phrase, count it all joy when you fall into various trials and temptations. That seems so far out of our grid. Like, why would I count that joy? Why would I ever do that? But what you're saying is absolutely right. And someone said to me once something I thought was very profound, which was just that sometimes, this is the benefit of the new year, this time of year, which I've grown to love, is that in the moment, sometimes things can seem monotonous, tedious, like you're not actually getting anywhere, and it can feel like every day, to use a old phrase, you miss the forest for the trees, you just get caught in the forest and you miss the big picture. And so sometimes we need that. We need to step outside of ourselves. We need someone else's perspective to say, wow, in the moment that might not have felt beautiful. It might have felt just like you were trudging through. But sometimes when you take a step back, and if you've been doing those things that God's called you to do, then you take a step back, and what happens is you're able to see the big picture and see, wow, I came from here to here. God used those things in my life, and it is beautiful in the big picture, even if it wasn't beautiful in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, 2018 is the combination of 365 days. Yeah. That every day we had to live to come to this point and say, hey, this is what has happened in my life, and 2019 is no different. It's going to be the combination of 365 days of us, devoting ourselves to what it is that God has for us that particular day, changing our minds and how we view things. And yeah, that same, I thought about that same analogy when it comes to, doing music, and the idea of just, practicing and getting ready and preparing. It's that every day. Sometimes that's monotony, and sometimes it's joyless, yeah. But it's that combination when you step back, like we're doing at the end of a year, and saying, hey, look what is God's, and we can, in that case, you can't count it all joy, even though it might have been 365 days of trial. At the end of the day, you say, count it all joy, to look back and see what God has done in your life, even though some of it might have been, quite difficult. And then going to the new year, just having that idea that, Lord, what is it that you have for me today? And taking it day by day and counting it all joy to be in relationship, one with Jesus, and knowing that He is with us. He's in He's in the boat with us, as the disciples. That was quite a trial for them in the middle of that storm, and they forgot, hey, the Son of God is in the boat with us, and the Son of God is with us in this new year, 2019, and we can count it all joy, even stepping out here this very first day, January 1st, saying, hey, Jesus is with us. We can count it all joy, even though we are going to experience things into this new year. And I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. So, we here at Whitefields Community Church, we are welcoming you into this new year, and we are wishing you all the best and blessings from the Lord and His grace upon grace in your lives. I read that phrase this morning in John chapter 1, grace upon grace in Jesus Christ, and we wish that for you this coming year, and all the best that God has for you. But to count it all joy, there are going to be difficult times, and not to necessarily focus on what it is that is difficult, but focus in on our Lord Jesus and Creator, who has given us salvation through Jesus Christ. And so we wish you all the best, and we look forward to seeing you next time. God bless.